The Pentagon wants to take on extremism in its ranks over the next few months. The concerns about extremists among the armed forces have grown since the riot at the U.S. Capitol. Some of those charged are current and former members of the armed forces. Newsy and our partners at Bellingcat have previously reported on soldiers and Marines being active in neo-Nazi and white supremacist forums, some of them sharing messages about using their military experience to start up militia groups. Some lawmakers have said for months now that the Pentagon has to crack down on white supremacy and extremism in its ranks. Now Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin says he wants to do just that. He's ordering a 60-day stand down to address the challenges of extremism in the military. Therese Garnier is following the latest out of the Pentagon. Therese, what does this stand down order actually mean? How will it work?
Well, Jay, just like you had mentioned a little earlier, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has ordered a military-wide stand down, and it is expected to occur within the next 60 days. Now, a stand down is usually a mass meeting that can last between an hour or even weeks between commanders and lower enlisted to discuss topics of concern. And sometimes they even include guest speakers and certain military training. But it has not been announced just yet how that training will be carried out and how each branch will carry out the stand down and how long they will last.
What prompted all this? Why are they taking action now?
Well, after the January 6th attack on the Capitol, the FBI announced that they had over 150 investigations. 68 of those were for domestic extremism, and they were investigating veterans and active duty troops. So this isn't a new issue. There's been extremism reports of it throughout the military, but it wasn't until federal officials and military officials realized that a lot of those participating in the insurrection were active duty military and veterans, that it actually hit home how big of an issue white supremacy and extremism has become rooted within the branch of the military.
Are Pentagon leaders considering anything else going forward?
Secretary Austin did announce that he is looking into the idea of creating a task force. He's also trying to hash out some details regarding training military service members, but there hasn't been an announcement just yet on what that training will entail or how the task force will be able to weed out extremism within the military.
Therese Garnier, thanks for the update. The Capitol police officer killed during last month's riots has been laid to rest at Arlington National Cemetery. 42-year-old Brian Sicknick was just the fifth person to lie in honor in the Capitol Rotunda. President Biden and Vice President Harris were among those who paid their respects. Sicknick was then buried at the historic cemetery. Parler's CEO is out after Amazon's decision to stop hosting the social media company